Good morning, students. We'll move on to the next topic. So, this is the last topic from chapter number one, module number three. So, after this, we need to go for one more chapter, which will finish the module number three. Okay. So, in short form, we call it as RPL. Okay. What is this RPL stand for? RPL means routing over low power and lossy networks. Okay. Low power lossy network means we need to perform the data transmission, okay, over the network or the components or the devices who are all dependent on low power consumption and lossy network means we cannot trust these type of network completely. Okay, we need to go for adding some type of supplements, okay, using which we can easily overcome all those drawbacks, whatever we may be facing in case of lossy network. Okay, fine, we'll begin. The consensus was that a new routing protocol should be developed for use by IP smart objects given the characteristics and requirements of constrained networks. So, we are trying to implement a protocol or IP stack, okay, what we call, okay. So, who should match all the requirements, okay, so which is essential to deal with these kind of lossy network, okay. So, this new distance vector routing protocol was named, okay, the IPv6 routing protocol for low power and lossy network. Okay, we call it as RPL. Okay, so this we are naming it as what, distance vector routing protocol. Okay, means we are dependent on the intermediate nodes who are all comes in between the source and destination, who will take part in routing or the transmission of information. Clear? Okay, they are very much responsible for transferring the information from one place to another. Okay, so in an RPL network, each node acts as a router and becomes part of a mesh network. So here, so each and every node, whatever we are involving in between source to the destination, everyone will be taking part in the data transmission, remember. Okay, so we'll see that how it will be done and all. Routing is performed at the IP layer. Each node examines every received IP packet and determines the next hop destination based on the information contained in the IPv6 header. So here, the each router will be receiving the packet. The intermediate nodes, whatever we are having, everybody will receive the packets. Okay, so each packets will be having IPv6 header. So this header will be examined by each and every hop. Okay, and based on which it will be identified, it will be decided like who should be the next hop. Okay, feel that we are having total 100 different kind of a node, 100 different kind of a node. Okay, so out of that, one will be called as a source, another will be called as a destination. Is it right? Okay, so if you are trying to involve all 100, it will be meaningless. So what we need to do, we need to have a proper link between such type of a node, okay, by using which after involving very limited number of nodes, okay, we should reach the destination. Okay, in case of a diagonal fashion, in case of a zigzag fashion, or any kind of a fashion, okay, we should reach the destination. That is what the target we are having. Okay, so then no information from the MAC layer header is needed to perform next hop determination. So here we are not involving the MAC layer header format for identifying the next header. Okay, so everything will be done in the IP layer itself. To cope with the constraints of computing and memory that are common characteristics of constrained nodes, the protocol defines two modes exactly. Okay, so here we got some constraints regarding the power consumption, it may be, or else it may be storing capacity, or it may be some constraint regarding the devices exactly. So we'll see that what are those two modes which will overcome us to have some procedures over here. Okay, storing mode and non-storing mode we are having. There are two varieties exactly. Okay, Sorry. So storing mode means all nodes contains the full routing table of the RPL domain. Okay, every node knows how to directly reach every other nodes. So here, each and every node of the RPL, okay, what we have, okay, everybody will be receiving the routing table. Okay, so if you are having a routing table, then easily you can identify from A what will be the next node, from B what will be the next node, from C what will be the next node. Okay, so if you are having capacity or if you are having potential to store the information, then this is possible. Okay, but if the device is not able to store the information, then we go for non-storing mode. Exactly, means this is what the constraint. Okay, storing capacity, if it is more, then we go for storing the routing table in every node. Okay, if storing capacity is less in your smart object, then we go for non-storing mode. Exactly. Okay, only the border routers of the RPL domain contains the full routing table. All other nodes in the domain only maintain their list of partners and use this as list of default routes towards the border router. Exactly. Okay, so here like in first case we are storing the complete routing table for every node, right? So that we are trying to avoid over here. How we can avoid this? We need to maintain the routing table only in border routers. Exactly. Okay, border means like we will be having the gateway level, right? Okay, there itself we need to maintain the routing table. Okay, intermediate, what all the nodes we are having, there we need to just maintain the partner list. Okay, or we need to maintain the parent list. Exactly. Okay, means this particular node can be reached by which node. Okay, that information mostly must be available in the intermediate node. Exactly. Then we are trying to limit the burden over the intermediate nodes. Yes, obvious, for border routers it will be increased. Exactly. Okay, it doesn't matter, no problem, no issue. Okay, but we are trying to limit the storing capacity available in the constraint node. Exactly. When communication is wait a second. When communication in non-storing mode, a node always forward its packet to the border router, okay, which knows how to ultimately reach the final destination. So whenever we are using or we are working with a non-storing mode, and if you are trying to transfer any kind of a packet, okay, then we are transferring it directly for the border router. Exactly. Okay, because border router have a routing table. Exactly. So how packet should be forwarded for the destination, that will be known by your border router itself. So finally the final destination will be known by your border router, so we need to transfer the packet for the border router itself. Okay, next, RPL is based on concepts of directed acyclic group or graph. We call it as DAG. We are calling it as, okay, directed acyclic graph. So here the target is what? We should not have a cycle, okay, between the nodes. Exactly. If you are starting a transmission from one node, okay, to another, there should not be any route, okay, using which we should come back to the same starting point. That should not happen. Okay, so acyclic we call it as. A DAG is a directed graph, okay, where no cycles exist. This means that from any vertex or point in a graph, you cannot follow the edge or a line back to this same point. You can observe we are having a, we'll consider example as a node number 11. Okay, see, it is having total 3 different ways to transfer the information. 11 to 10 we have, 11 to 9 we have, 11 to 2 we are having. Okay, but you don't have any path using which we can come back to 11. Exactly. You can identify, check. Okay, we don't have any particular path from using which we can come back to location or we can come back to node 11. Exactly. Okay, so this we call it as what? DAG, means directed acyclic graph. Exactly. We don't have any path or any point, okay, using which we can come back to the starting location. A basic RPL process involved building a destination oriented directed acyclic graph. Okay, DODAG we call it as. A DODAG is a DAG routed to one destination. Okay, so here we are targeting it for only one destination. We'll see that how we can do this and all. So this destination occurs at a border router, okay, known as a DODAG route. Okay, figure 5.9 compares a DAG and a DODAG. Okay, you can see that the DAG has multiple routes, whereas DODAG has just one. Okay, so we are trying to make a common route. Okay, instead of multiple number of routes, we are trying to perform a common route. Exactly, you can have a comparison. See, we have a DAG and we have DODAG. Okay, in case of DODAG we have only one route. Okay, but in case of DAG we are having multiple routes. Observe it very careful. So if you want to transfer the package towards the upstream, okay, if you want to transfer the package to the upstream, you can observe from level, if you are considering top one as level 1, level 2 and level 3, okay, in this figure. Okay, so then the top layer, okay, the root level, okay, for that, if you want to transfer the information, okay, so we don't have any other option in case of DODAG, right? We have only one way. Okay, but in case of DAG we are having multiple, we are having 3 different routes, but here we are having only one route. Okay, so in case of DAG we can transfer it for any route, finally it will be received by the destination. But here in case of DODAG we are targeting for the only one destination, that is the single route. Exactly, in a DODAG each node maintains up to their each node maintains up to 3 parents, okay, that provide a path to the root. Okay, typically one of these parents is a perfect parent, okay, or preferable parent, okay, we call it as, okay, which means it is the preferred next hop to upward route towards the root. Exactly. Okay, so here we are maintaining, or each and every node will be maintaining total 3 different parents. Okay, but out of that 3, one will be preferred to reach the DAG roots. Exactly. So the routing graph created by the set of DAG parents across all nodes defines the full set of upward routes. Okay, the RPL protocol implementation should ensure that routes are loop free by disallowing nodes from selected DODAG parent that are positioned further away from the border routers. Exactly. So here we should not involve, or we should not entertain the looping kind of routes. Okay, so that should be avoided. So that is the main thing over here. Upward routes in RPL are discovered and configured using DAG information object. We are using some messages over here, DAG information object. Okay, so node listens to the DO to handle changes in the topology that can affect route. Okay, so here using this DO message we can get the information if there is any changes in the topology, because if the route get changed, or if route get deviate based on the topology changes and all, then what we need to do, we don't have any other option. Okay, we must go for changing the path. Exactly. So for that we are having a DO message which will help us to identify what kind of path is suitable according to the topology. The information in DO message determine parents and the best path to the DODAG route. Okay, so this was regarding DO and DO and DODAG. Exactly. Okay, fine. Next, nodes establish downstream routes by advertising their parent set towards the DODAG route. Okay, using a destination advertisement object message. Okay, DAO we call it as. So DAO message allow nodes to inform their parents of their presence and reachability to destination. Exactly. So here the root want to communicate with the destination, right? Root is at the level 1 feel that the destination is at level 4. So intermediate to that we are having many number of devices. Okay, many number of devices. So by using this broadcast, okay, we can get the information like using these root level nodes. Okay, how we can reach, okay, the destination. Okay, that information will be available using DAO message. Remember, DO message will be used for identifying the changes in the topology. Okay, DAO message means what? Destination advertisement object. Okay, using which we can identify you if you are going with particular route, whether it is reachable to the destination or not. RPL messages such as DO and DAO runs on top of IPv6. So these messages exchange and advertise downstream and upstream routing information between a border router and the nodes under it. Figure 5.10, okay, shows regarding DAGO and DAO and DO messages. Move both up and down the DODAG, okay, depending on the exact message type. Okay, fine. So this is the figure, okay, using which we can identify how these messages are utilized exactly. Okay, so next we have the concept called as a metrics. Okay, so this is a standard of measurement. Okay, RPL defines a large and flexible set of new metrics, okay, and constraints for routing in RFC 6551. Some of the RPL routing metrics and constraints defined in RFC 6551 includes the following. Okay, so here we are listing some concepts. Okay, expected transmission count assigns a discrete value to the number of transmission a node expect to make to deliver a packet. Okay, so expected transmission count we call it as. So intermediate, how many how many transition we need to perform so that we can deliver a packet, regarding that we have a information. Then hop count tracks the number of nodes traversed in a path. Okay, so typically a path with a lower hop count is chosen over the path with a higher hop count. Okay, so the hop count which is having a less, it will be selected. Then the latency, the various the varies depending on power conversion. Okay, path with a lower latency are preferred. Okay, then regarding link quality level, so who is having the less interference, that will be selected. Okay, so then later link color we are having. Okay, so allow manual influences of routing by administratively setting values to make a link more or less desirable. Okay, so these values can be either statically or dynamically adjusted for specific traffic types. Okay, so this is what we call it as a link color. Node state and attribute identifies nodes that function as traffic aggregator and nodes that are being impacted by high workloads. Okay, so regarding this, then later regarding the throughput, provides the amount of throughput for a node link. Okay, often nodes conserving power use low throughput. Okay, so this metric allow the prioritization of path with higher throughput exactly. So those who are having a higher throughput path, okay, that will be selected. So these were the topic regarding your RPL. Okay, so the final conclusion is we need to have a data transmission between the source and the destination in the lossy network, low power and lossy network exactly. Okay, so for that what we need to do, we need to go for dependent on some supplements exactly. Okay, for that we are dependent on storing mode and non-storing mode exactly. Okay, first thing. Then later we've been through DO routes exactly. Okay, then DAO and DO messages exactly. Then DAGO. Okay, such type of supplements we need to go through. Okay, so that we can overcome from all those drawbacks what we are having. Like long distance transmission we cannot perform. Okay, because of that what we need to do, we need to go for some supplements exactly. Okay, I hope you don't have doubt regarding this topic. So we'll move on to the next chapter in next lecture. Thank you, students.